Diddy's kids just put something out there that proves 50 Cent isn't just exposing Diddy. He's coming after everyone, and Snoop Dogg is next. And once you understand how Snoop is involved, everything starts to make sense. The fact that Snoop never went to meet Pac at the hospital and suddenly became friends with Diddy, none of it was an accident.
Puffy's sons and my sons have been best friends since they were 6, 7 years old. And let me give you the real story on that one, brother. I didn't make it happen and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood that me and Puff always had.
When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it.
After 2 years of investigating, 50 Cent released Sean Diddy Combs' The Reckoning, a documentary focusing on Diddy's worst crimes. And ever since the documentary dropped, Diddy has been doing everything he can to get it removed. This documentary shows never-before-seen footage of Diddy's crimes. But best of all, it also exposes everyone who was working with Diddy. For the first time since the start of Diddy's trial, we are looking at the people who covered up Diddy's crimes and were standing right there with him. Allegedly, one of those names is Snoop Dogg. And that's where things start getting uncomfortable, because Snoop was allegedly one of Tupac's best friends. So, for him to be involved with the man who's the prime suspect in Tupac's murder is suspicious to say the least. And it's not just me saying this. Everyone in the industry has been pointing this out for years.
He heard the shots, he heard everything was going on, and when everybody said they heard him say they got him, that's not just a red flag, that's a fact that somebody involved with something they shouldn't have been in, and they had a radio they shouldn't have had. So that was the first thing. Then Corrupt, they interviewed Corrupt, and Corrupt says Snoop had the meeting and said, we're not going to Vegas. So they wasn't going to Louisville, so that's basically saying like something's gonna happen. And then Nate Dogg says, I'm going to Vegas. I don't gotta be around those niggas. That's his exact words. I can be here, I can be there, long as I don't be around them. Basically saying, if long as I'm not standing next to Tupac or me, he'll have to worry about a straight bullet getting him. No other way. And the fact that not only did he not come to the hospital, not one of those people, them people, whatever you want to call them, did not do a song with Tupac. We put out 2 albums after Tupac was gone. Snoop not on one. Snoop did his album, you probably guys don't remember. He did that album on his own. What was The Dogfather? It's not a Pac verse on that one. And he had lots of them to pick from, not a one. When Tupac got a star.
According to Sugo, the night Tupac was shot in Las Vegas, Snoop was supposed to be with them. He had tickets to the Mike Tyson fight. Everything was planned, but at the very last minute, Snoop didn't show up. And then when Tupac was lying in the hospital fighting for his life, Snoop still didn't go see him. Sugg said he had to call Snoop himself and tell him to come over because something felt off. What happened next is what shocked everyone around Tupac. Sugg claims that when Snoop finally arrived, Tupac's mother was there and Snoop immediately broke down crying and physically throwing up, repeating that Tupac hated him and didn't want to see him.
He went to the hospital and had a conversation with Pac. That is a flat-out lie. The reason why that was a flat-out lie, Pac had already passed away before Snoop left my house. Snoop came to my house, and he didn't volunteer to come out there. I called and told him, get your ass out here right now. He came to my house first. Tupac's mother was at my house. We walked back by behind the 2 pool houses, guest houses, and we had the conversation that I said last time. Snoop didn't throw up in no hospital. Snoop threw up in my backyard by the guest house, the pool house. Pissed me the fuck off. The thing he said about he was gonna name, if it's a boy, after Tupac, he said that in front of me and Tupac's mother at my house. For anything outside of that, who knows what he did when he left my house. But if he went to go visit Tupac, Pac was already gone. And he didn't have no conversation with Tupac. And if he would have had I don't believe he went there, because every person went to go visit Pac, it's pictures, it's footage. No matter who went. I had never seen any pictures or footage. But what I would say 1,000%, he did not talk to Pac. He didn't have a conversation with Pac. He had already passed.
Why would Snoop lie about talking to Tupac? Why would he tell different versions of the same story over the years, especially about moments that other people say he wasn't even present for? According to Sue, Snoop wants to maintain credibility. Snoop knew that something was going to happen to Tupac, but he stayed quiet and never did anything to stop the murder. Why was Snoop struggling with credibility, you ask? This is where Snoop Dogg's name starts coming up in some very disturbing conversations, because according to multiple insiders, Snoop was allegedly involved in the same trafficking-style party culture that's now being exposed in the Diddy case.
Snoop Dogg, not again, mentioned him in December of 2020, but everybody beat the hell out of me. Screw you, that can't be true. What the hell do I know, right? And then recently it just came out again that Snoop Dogg got accused of actually trafficking children. And what did everybody do? Ooh, Snoop Dogg is at the halftime. I'm going to the halftime. But we canceled Dr. Seuss. And Jemima. Nobody mad. Nobody. Super Bowl happened. They were dripping down from the letters. The LVI. I know, but that's fine. Let's go to the game. Make some hot wings. It's fine. It'll pass. It'll pass, right? It's a phase. It's just a phase. But oh no, tell somebody that plastic straws are coming back and throw a fit. Let a convict get arrested. Somebody put a knee on a convict's neck and it's over. The neck of a child. Crickets. Crickets. Nothing. Everything's fine.
These allegations, along with everything that has come out in the documentary, have brought the spotlight back on Tupac's murder. And a criminal investigation into the murder of Tupac Shakur has just been launched at the request of Tupac's family.
Back to Court TV Live, we are following new developments in the case of the hip-hop mogul who is facing RICO charges in New York, Sean P. Diddy Combs. Court TV has just confirmed that the family of Tupac Shakur is investigating a potential link between the murder of Tupac and Sean Diddy Combs. This coming from attorney Alex Spiro, who represents Tupac's family. Now, this investigation had been previously reported by unnamed sources, but earlier today, Spiro confirmed to our Court TV team that he and a team of investigators has been hired.
Sean Combs allegedly had business dealings with Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who will go on trial next March for the murder of Tupac. This was back in 1996. Some have speculated that Diddy ordered Tupac's death. That, of course, is just a theory at this point, and we are monitoring the developments in both the Tupac murder trial and the federal indictment of Sean Diddy Combs. So a lot of information to come on that one.
Let me ask you this. I get it. When you have a case that's 5 years old, it's hard to get overwhelming evidence that meets the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. When you have cases this old, no matter what Fiddy has found out and put in this documentary, do you see it at all ever possible that Diddy could be involved in a murder trial when it comes to Biggie and Tupac?
It could be possible, yes. However, like I said, they need a lot of corroboration. to make that stick, because it's really alleged right now as to his involvement. It's not anything that's substantial or concrete that he was involved. It's personally from people talking about it and saying this is what happened. You need some more information to come forward to prove that.
And it gets even more complicated when you look at what Napoleon recently said on his podcast with Dave Marr. He went in on Snoop Dogg hanging out with Diddy after Tupac's murder, and even appeared with him on the Steve Harvey Show. Napoleon made it clear he thought this behavior was tasteless because of the timing. Snoop could have easily avoided public interactions with Diddy to show respect for Tupac's memory, but he didn't. Instead, he rolled with Diddy openly, shaking hands, doing shows, and creating the appearance of a friendship.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay, you know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion that, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac, you know, we grown now. If he wanna be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this individual. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with him, you probably could have said, you know what, I probably ain't gonna come out, publicly with this because until things clear up, so I really know I could be certain that, they didn't have nothing to do with Pac. But it's like, it was no, okay, it is what it is. So that I never really respected that back then.
So you had an issue with it, you didn't like it?
Never really liked it. It just was a strange look because you was Pac boy. You know what I mean? Puffy, it's clear they had some issues with Pac. And Pac died and all of a sudden you chilling with Puffy. Back then it just, okay, now you can say what you want. You all grandfathers, I guess. You know what I mean? That's different now. But back then I think it was weird, it was tasteless. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like you really had that much love for Pac. You could have just, you know what I mean? Unless he pressured them or like questioned Puffy, like, yo, what's up with this? What's up with that? Then you could say, you know what I mean? No problem. Like somebody said, okay, I believe somebody mentioned that they seen a video with me and the dude Prodigy or one of the dudes from ID, as if I was with, they don't know the backdrop of that. I went to his hotel room ready to fight. Like, bro, I'll fight everybody in that room one-on-one. Even if I lose, it doesn't matter. The Outlaws was with me. My homie Tiny, the Mexican homie, was with me. I didn't go there and say, let me get in the video.